Whoa, a lot of folks should be standing in line today for a Kicking the Balls Monday. Not just National Football League players and teams and team owners, but certain individuals. But let's first say this, Richie. By the way, happy Monday, Freak Nation. I'm glad you put this up on Twitter. It shows you the age gap. Bob Saget. Funniest home videos or Full House? I think it was brilliant. Nice job, Richard.
Thank you.
For me, funniest home videos, because I wasn't a Full House fan.
That was me too.
Right? Because did that overlap with funniest home videos?
It did.
I think
It
so.
did, because I used to watch both. Me and my sisters, we watched both of them, and they were basically the Full House reruns would air kind of around the same time. So that's how I think that's how I started watching Funniest Home Videos, is because I knew Bob Saget through Full House.
Got it.
So, yeah.
Okay.
Well, we all knew Bob Saget, but again, that's the first thing that comes to mind. Well, you know what? I don't know. Crap. Anyway.
You sat on a plane with him.
I did, yeah.
That's the first thing I thought of when I saw the news last night. I'm like, oh, Kenny sat right next to him.
Well, there's some other individuals I've sat in the plane with. Let's hope they don't pass away because I sat next to them, Dirk Bentley.
Oh.
Yeah. Pick that name up right there.
Okay, yep. No, but honestly, Hollywood has been kicked in the nuts these last couple of weeks. It's been a crap several weeks. A lot of big names have unfortunately passed, and it's kind of weird, isn't it? Like, you see these names and you think, oh, they're trending on Twitter for something. And then you're like, uh-oh. No, they're trending because of a bad reason. It's just, I don't know. It's been a weird couple of weeks.
Crasher, we sat next to Barry Switzer one time. What happened to him?
That's right.
He's still alive.
He's still alive. You didn't want to keep his ticket.
Whoa!
No, you didn't. You told me, don't take that. Don't take that. Yes, because we swapped seats so that you and I could sit next to each other. And because, you.
So was I mad at myself for telling you to do that? Because I wanted to keep this ticket.
Yeah, I picked it up. I said, do you want to keep this? Because it's Barry Switzer, first class, 1C or whatever the seat was. And I'm like, I don't know. Do you want to keep this? No. That's, I don't know. You said something like about privacy.
Bad mojo, man.
Whatever.
Boy, what's happened to the Longhorns since then? Oh, we got his championship, but Jesus. Again, happy Kicking the Balls Monday. Bob Saget, joke in peace, man. Man, him, Norm Macdonald, the number of comedians that those two dudes have touched.
Oh, wow.
Richie, do you look at guys like Bob Saget, Norm Macdonald, like I look at George Carlin?
No, I wouldn't put it on that level.
Well, just because they're...
Yeah, Carlin's...
Well, no, I'm sorry. I just mean from like classic comedians. Yeah, Saget really wasn't Carlin, but Norm Macdonald was classic, right?
Yeah, from his SNL days, yeah, but I wouldn't equate them in that particular way. Like, if for me, like I'm still young enough to appreciate George Carlin and how great he was.
Yep.
And so, like, for me, George Carlin is George Carlin. Yeah. So
sorry, I just offended 4 million people out there. Please send your emails to Richard C. Suave at TV. Hey, the Golden Globes were last night.
Oh, that's right. Non-televised. No audience, right?
What a bullshit organization.
I can't remember if there was an audience.
It took someone popping, I think it was the LA Times, prior to last year or year before, where they put out an article like the night before or the day of the Golden Globes with all these accusations, had zero black members of the Hollywood Foreign Press.
Or Latino, right?
Mm-hmm. No one televised it. No one, not even streamed. Suck it. Richie, you got that video, that audio. I need to start my Monday off with this.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't watched a whole lot of golf in the last year and a half, frankly. But let me bring this down, Richie. And this is just, of course, this happened in the Century Tournament of Champions this past weekend, and it has nothing to do with the shot, has nothing to do with your leaderboard, it has everything to do with the audio.
All right, now to Patrick Cantley up the hill to get to 18.
Oh, what a great look here. Flat, little right to left.
Oh, yeah. Back it up again, Richie.
All right, now to Patrick Cantley up the hill to get to 18.
Oh, what a great look here. Flat, little right to left.
Of course, you want to think immediately that it's a beer, but no, that could be anything.
That's a beer,
It's
Crash.
not a beer.
Do it again, Rich.
All right, now to Patrick Cantley up the hill to get to 18.
Oh, what a great look here. Flat.
Crash,
little right
what
to
is it
left.
then?
A Sprite or a Coke or something along those lines. They're in a broadcast booth. The chances of them drinking beer, well, they might be higher than we think, but I still think they're pretty low. No.
Then is that just because that's where my mind went?
Yes.
A Sprite. They're having a Sprite.
They're having a fantastic.
This tournament was in Hawaii, so it was like happening overnight here in the continental United States. And so I think that's
that
what
was
led
a
people.
Red Bull.
This is what led people to believe that there could be something wacky going on here, and that they might be opening an adult beverage because they're watching golf at 1:00 in the morning.
Okay.
But I think you're right. I think it is more likely to be a Red Bull than it was
Damn
an
it.
alcoholic beverage, because somebody else would have caught them, and then they get in trouble and they're fired.
Yeah, we would have heard something else by now. Instead, the Golf Channel is milking it, as they should.
Golf Channel.
Golf Channel.
It's been golf for me is when you have conflict with it, there's a word out there. It's a love-hate relationship with golf. How about that?
Okay.
My brother's a golf course designer. He worked with some fairly notable people out there.
Fairly?
Jack Nicklaus. Imagine that. You're hired out of Texas A&M, out of the agronomy department, to work for Golden Bear. Yep.
Yeah.
Pretty much downhill from there, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, the experience that he gained from that and continues to kick ass in designing golf courses and maintenance it's incredible. But to the angst of my brother and some other people that I've played with, I'm always that guy. I'm that guy that doesn't tuck his shirt in. I will wear the proper attire, but I just won't tuck my shirt. It's anti-establishment for me. So anytime, it's like the whole Baba Booey. Anytime, like, I don't want to hear your camera flash. Anytime you can rile up the golf community, I'm all for it. You hit a white ball.
It's not easy.
Crash.
What?
You drive a race car 320 miles per hour.
That's badass. Especially over hitting a white ball. But I'm not saying that hitting a white ball is easy. It's not
Right.
at all. Just driving a race car is more badass.
Speaking of the Hollywood Foreign Press, again, a sport that has been openly racist over the years, openly misogynistic. No, we can't allow women on this golf course. You got yourself a vagina.
Okay.
Like Augusta. Got yourself a vagina.
There was a golf course in my hometown. I think I heard it's changed. But yeah, they wouldn't allow black. And Tiger Woods went through this too. They wouldn't allow black people up, and I think they finally changed. But then again, I don't know. Why is that still allowed in the sport of golf?
I wish that I was a little more coherent at 13, 14 years old. My dad worked for Methodist Hospital, and they would host this golf tournament every year to raise money for Methodist Hospital. And Lee Trevino was in it, and Jim Dent, I believe, was in it. Jim Dent was a monster of a driver, black man. Again, he could pound that ball. It was incredible. Not a highly successful golfer, but certainly significant. Not up to the Lee Elder status, but I just wonder what it felt like. I remember loading those guys. There's a picture of my dad. I know Dad's taking a picture of me loading Lee Trevino's golf bag and Jim Dent's golf bag. I didn't know the significance of this crap. I'm sure my shirt was tucked in then. Hey, a lot of kicking the balls, man. For you Cardinals fans, Josh Weinfuss, ESPN, ESPN.com. He'll be joining us in moments. Richie, did you want to kick your Rams in the Nads?
I mean, they still won the NFC West. They're still hosting a playoff game. They're playing the
Cliff
Cardinals.
Kingsbury.
Yeah. Whoa. Who's that sound like?
Stop it. They first of all, Kyle Shanahan can F right off. That guy sucks. Worst. So yeah, it's fine. Everything's fine. I knew this was gonna happen. I knew it because Kyle Shanahan always beats Sean McVay. So Rams are still in the playoffs. They're hosting the Cardinals, who are not playing well. They'll be okay. They'll be fine until they're not.
Who's going to be the downfall for the Rams? The Rams defense, which seems to be fairly inconsistent, and I don't understand it, or Matt Stafford?
Matthew Stafford.
Yeah, I think you're right on that one. So will that come into play when they host the Cardinals this weekend? We shall see. Or Monday, I should say. A week from today. Holy crap.
Just of all the times for the Cardinals, the only game that's going to be featured, it's the Cardinals and Rams on a Monday night game. When I saw that, I went, holy smoke.
Yeah, I was shocked. Shocked. I thought it was going to be the Cowboys or the Chiefs. But instead, they're like, hey, let's put the LA market on there. which if you were watching the Rams and Niners game yesterday, you noticed this. That stadium, SoFi Stadium, was like 60% red.
Yes, we did. Yes. Yes. Whoa.
It was wild. And Troy Aikman and Joe Buck, they mentioned that multiple times. They were like, it's loud in here. Both teams are. I think Matthew Stafford even mentioned it after the game too, how loud it was and how like it threw him off offensively because it was so loud in there.
It's awesome.
So Cardinals fans, if you want to disrupt the Rams, just buy a bunch of tickets and show up. It's like a 6-hour drive. Stadium's amazing. You'll love the stadium.
You going, Richie?
No, it's Monday. I can't go.
Well, hold on though. You can do whatever you want. It's your life.
You can't go. What do you mean you can't go,
This is
Richie?
the Rams.
You're a
This
millennial.
is the playoffs.
It's a Monday. I have to. First of all, I'm supposed to work that night, which
No.
so I have to like finagle a schedule around and
Yeah. You have to watch the game. No.
tickets are expensive.
With
I
all
have
those
to save
penny
money.
slots that you keep winning, you don't have enough scoots?
No. I have to save money too. My friends are getting married later this year, so I have to save money to go to their wedding.
Got it.
Right.
I have a bachelorette party to go to too, so save money for that.
The bachelor party and the bachelorette party? Because you're
don't
friends
know.
with both.
I might not. I there's a possibility that I might do both. Yes.
That'd be awesome.
Yes. Because my best friend Corey, she
What the hell's going on here, man?
No, yeah.
Are millennials killing bachelor parties? You got to go to the bachelorette party now?
Because Corey's his best friend.
Yeah. So I'm in Corey's I'm part of Corey's bridesmaids, but
Yeah.
I'm like a bridesman, so I get invited to the bachelorette party too.
I have nothing against it. I'm all about change.
Milk it. Party is a party is a party.
But the way she pays you back is you're a groomsman. Richie, you're not a bridesman. What's going on? What the hell is happening here?
No, because the groomsmen are part of the groom's party.
Yeah,
I'm not. I'm part of the bride's party.
You want to explain
That makes
to him,
sense?
Crash?
Well, okay, at my brother's wedding, I was a bridesmaid, even though I'm representing my brother in the wedding.
Yes.
This is interesting, though. I like this. If this is changing, this is cool.
Yes,
We can have boys and girls standing on both sides.
Yes, when it comes to the actual wedding day, I'm going to be standing with the rest of the bridesmaids. Yeah.
No shit.
I like that.
Yes,
That's
and I
beautiful.
get to wear. I'm going to wear the same color, like I'm a dress shirt as all the bridesmaids. Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Seriously, what color is it?
It's like a kind of a cool blue color.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
cool.
that'll go.
That's
Yeah, it's
that'll
dope.
go with your white ass. Because they can make you wear yellow or gold or pink.
Hey, here's the thing. I can look good in anything. All right. I don't care what color it is. I can pull it off.
Okay, I'm kind of liking this. I would like to see weddings change up a little
Me
bit.
too. Well, it's
That
not.
would be
You
cool.
can't be the.
That
I'm
would
sorry, Crash. I keep cutting you off. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying that would be really cool. I've never seen that before. To be perfectly honest, I've never heard of that
Mhm.
either, but I like it. I like it. It doesn't have to be all girls on this side and all boys on this side. Line up like in first grade. Nobody touch any hands until we tell you. Yeah, no. I'm the more I think about this, the more I'm digging it.
Nice job, Rich.
Yeah.
Where's the wedding going to be?
San Diego.
Right.
San Diego.
All right. We'll kick myself in the balls for not knowing that that's a thing now.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
All right. And then I'm going to kick myself in the balls with this.
Oh, boy.
And I will explain shortly. All right, Richie, you ready? Here we go.
I'm so ready. The build up to this is amazing.
Yeah, right.
Oh, we're ESPN.com. All right, cool. Dr. Pepper.
32 to 35, right there. Going to bed with putting my daughter to bed. Daddy, going to finish watching the game? No. Raiders are up by 15. They're going to lock this thing down.
Yeah, we did think that.
Well, got up this morning.
Wait, hold on. Did you guys not? You guys didn't watch the end of the game?
No.
Oh my gosh!
No. I mean,
wow,
Richie, it was living up to what everyone thought it. The conspiracy theorists thought it was going to be.
I tell you this much. I almost did the same thing, which is at the beginning of the fourth quarter, the Raiders had a 12-point lead, and I was like, all right, well, this is not going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
I turned the game off, and I was still scrolling Twitter, and I saw that like San Diego, LA had scored.
You still want to call them the San Diego Chargers.
That the Chargers scored. Like, oh, well, I'll just tune back in and watch the rest of the game. And that was the greatest decision I've ever made because the finish of that football game was the most ridiculous finish to a football game I've ever seen in my life. And I was so mad. I was so mad that Brandon Staley had to go and ruin everything. So if we're going to kick somebody in the balls, it's Brandon Staley, the head coach of the Chargers, because I think all the evidence is laid out there that because of that timeout, that allowed the Raiders to end up kicking the field goal and win the game. Because I honestly believe that the Raiders were going to run out the clock and go to a tie until Brandon Staley decided to take that timeout. And the Raiders were like, all right, you want to play stupid games? Fine. We're going to kick your ass out of the playoffs and kick this game-winning field goal. At least that's what it felt like watching live.
So you're thinking like millions of others that someone got a call from Roger Goodell saying, do not do this.
Someone? You mean someone on the Raiders?
Someone, do not tie this football game. Where's your conspiracy lie, Richie?
It lies. I don't think there's a conspiracy now, but because the Raiders ended up winning. But that's my conspiracy, that the Raiders were going to tie the game until Brandon Staley called that ridiculous timeout. Also, a lot of people pointing this out too. All the Chargers had to do was just tackle, and then it's also a tie too. So you could argue that the players mess it up too. But I was getting texts from like a bunch of people last night about this game. It was ridiculous. Like that. There's the last 2 minutes of the fourth quarter. 19 passes in a row from Justin Herbert. I believe they converted like 3 or 4 fourth downs across the final 2 minutes in order to score. And then send the game to overtime. It was just incredible. Truly, just this is why the NFL is the best sport in the world. It's just you just can't get anywhere else.
Holy cow! Shame on us.
I know,
Holy
Crasher.
cow!
I put Henley to bed. 2 touchdowns up. We turn on morning show and watch that. Go to bed. Wake up this morning. Daddy, what was the score? It's about 6:15 this morning. Dad, what's wrong?
Dad, why aren't you answering me? Dad, why are you staring at your phone?
Look at the headline. The bonkers Chargers Raiders ending explained. What? A potential tie? We knew about that. The conspiracy. And we did. Oh my gosh.
And the thing that sucks too about this whole thing, and the main reason I was rooting for a tie is number one, I really like Justin Herbert. He's really, really fun to watch. And number two, Ben Roethlisberger is a douchebag, should be put in the douche canoe, and then he gets to be celebrated and put in the playoffs. So that's what I was really rooting for, is for Ben Roethlisberger to not make the playoffs.
Well, see, and more people believe with this conspiracy that, again, more eyeballs would watch the Steelers. Then I don't need to go on and on. All right, Josh Weinfuss, ESPN, ESPN.com. Joins us next here in the free.
While the other networks are in reruns, see what we run. Monday, get ready for another episode of UPN's outrageous hidden camera show, Red-Handed.
Let's see some wrestling.
Where unsuspecting victims are caught making complete jerks of themselves on national television.
Emmy always lies when he goes out with the guy.
This dude likes to get down and dirty, and his girlfriend's gonna call him on it.
I heard a girl.
It's for people.
See what happens when he gets caught with his pants down.
No. Let me explain.
Monday at 9 on UPN Channel 13.
Have you heard about Lucas Brake Parts Cleaner? Lucas Brake Parts Cleaner is made of the highest quality components, giving you superior performance and leaving no residue. How do you apply this? You apply Lucas Brake Parts Cleaner liberally to the parts that need to be cleaned. You'll eliminate brake fluid, grease, dust, and dirt components. We know a little bit about that here in the desert, I'd say. And basically what that does is that makes you a happy driver, because now your brake noise is gone and your performance has gone up. Boom.
Hey, Josh Weinfuss joining us here in the Freak Nation, and I'm sure he's fairly pleased to join us after that graphic because covering the Cardinals got a swift kick in the midsection along with some other teams, the Rams and others out there that had a chance to clinch and do. There's so much crazy math that was going on prior to the finalization of those NFL games that it was fun being with an 8-year-old that was a Cardinals fan.
And asking numerous questions. Okay, so Dad, what if? What if this? Wait, okay, now things have changed. What if this? Now what if this? It was good.
Hey, Josh Weinfuss covering your Cardinals for ESPN here in the Freak Nation. And your article is true, or at least part of your article is maybe it's a blessing. They got their butts handed to them by Seattle that they can go play away in Los Angeles, buddy.
Yeah, this team cannot win at home, right? They were 3-5 this year at home, 8-1 on the road. I mean, granted that one loss was terrible and that should have been 9-0, but we got demolished by Detroit. But no, I mean, it was interesting, because I asked Cliff and Kyler the question, is it almost a good thing that you guys lost and are playing it on the road? And both were like, yeah, probably. And one thing that's weird to me is we've been asking these questions for a few weeks now. Why are you so much better on the road than you are at home? And nobody can give us an answer. Like literally, I was like, we don't know. It's almost like a talking point right now. Like they're prepped to be like, yo, we don't know. Like it's weird almost. And I don't know if they are just lying to us because they want to keep it in-house, which is one thing, or if they legitimately don't know. And if that's the case, then I think there's some probably bigger issues going on that they don't literally know why they're losing at home but winning on the road. Like if that's true, then I think there needs to be some evaluation at the top of this, which starts with Cliff Kingsbury, and figure out why can't you win your games at home, but you're so good on the road. So,
Josh, I think we're in trouble if they're not telling us why, because you look for excuses for why there's such disparity there. Because is there A, B, C, and D? What do we have to choose from? We don't know. Is there actually something wrong with this team? Are they gun shy? Ooh, bad choice of words. Are they intimidated playing in front of their home fans? The hell is it?
I don't know if they're intimidated. I think it might be. I think if we were to strip back everything, kind of get to the core of this, what we might be looking at is kind of a fundamental organization problem, right? And it seems like, teams, generally speaking, have a different mindset on the road. They're together on the plane. They're together on the bus. They're together at the hotel. They're together in meetings, and then same thing the next morning. They're together back in, for meals and on the bus. And it's kind of like an us against the world mentality when teams are on the road. When they're home, they're with families. They have a night off. They come back to the hotel Saturday night. Then they go on, they drive themselves to the game on Sunday morning. So there's not that cohesiveness. But if that's the reason, I think that's kind of and also an issue, because your talent, that shows that your team can't win if it's not in a certain situation, which obviously isn't good for any team or organization. But it's baffling, right? And it's frustrating as a reporter trying to get these questions answered, and they just literally have no idea. So like I said, it's either that they're lying to us because they want to keep it in-house, which is one thing. But if I'm a fan of the Cardinals and I keep hearing this from my head coach and my players, I'm thinking, what the heck is going on in there? Do you really not know why you guys aren't bad? And if you don't know, then why are these people there?
Another thing is hearing a lot of lackadaisical answers from your head coach as a fan base, because you asked something else. You posted it on Twitter, I believe, last night, something about how are you okay with the loss because at least you were winning the division, or maybe that was Cliff's response. And it's a very lackadaisical, ridiculous response. Like, oh, well, hey, at least we're in the playoffs. Kind of like, hey, good is good enough. We don't need to be great. That's not something that the fan base wants to hear or say either.
Yeah. I mean, he was asked if it was a missed opportunity, with the West up for grabs, and he basically was like, no. And he said, quote, we would have liked to have won the division, but win the playoffs. So, I mean, part of that makes me think, if we are taking Cliff at his word, then that means he didn't want to win the West because he didn't want to play at home. That's what that comes down to.
And so again, it brings back that whole mystery again, because this can't be reality moving forward for the next many, many seasons. I mean, you can't just simulate road games when you're at home all the time. That's not reality.
100%. And it's interesting to think, let's say that is a reason, right? Like he didn't want to win the West because he wanted to play on the road. I think one side of thinking is he's thinking long term, right? He knows if they want to go to the Super Bowl, they can't do that by playing home games because whatever the reason is, they can't win at home. The other side is like, don't you want to hang banners? And winning the West is a banner. So there's two sides to look at it. And here's the thing: if they go to the NFC Championship game, they go to the Super Bowl, he's gonna look like a genius. If they get bounced in LA on Monday night, people are gonna be like, the whole thing's a mess anyway.
But then just looking back to this weekend, if that's the case, if the win wasn't important because they knew they were already in the playoffs, then why did the starters start?
According to Cliff Kingsbury, it's because they wanted to get into the playoffs on a high note, right?
Hey.
So, oops. Right? I mean, it's none of this makes sense. Like, I tried writing about it, right? It's like, you say one thing, you say this thing, you say that thing. Like, when you really sit down and look at it, the game didn't matter because whatever. You can't win on the road or you can't win at home, but you play your starters because you wanted to win the game.
Yeah.
Hey, Josh, do we have an update on James Conner?
We don't. We talked to Cliff Kingsbury in about 2.5 hours. So he said he didn't have one last night. What was interesting, though, was, Conner got hit in the ribs, leaves the game, comes back on the field on the sideline with a couple of team doctors, and they had his jersey picked up there, and they were touching his rib area, and then they decided to go back in the locker room. So I don't know if they thought that they could do it, or if the padding wasn't there, or the padding wasn't enough, whatever the reason may be. He thought he can come back, or they thought he can come back, and then obviously he did not. So it might be worse than we expect, or I don't know, but we'll know. Actually, we probably won't know one way or the other when Cliff talks, and he probably won't be able to give us an update.
Yeah, because that's a big key for me. If they want to beat the Rams, they got to do it running the football, because that's the blueprint's there to beat Sean McVay. You run the football down their throats for 4 quarters, and you take the football away out of Matthew Stafford and Cooper Kupp's hands. Right. And the best way for the Cardinals to do that was James Conner in the backfield. And they did it back in week 4. I was just looking up because I have blocked that game from my memory for obvious reasons. But the Cardinals ran for like 215 yards in that game, and they dominated on the ground. And that's how they're going to beat the Rams. And without James Conner, I don't know if they can do that.
I think they can, honestly. So they're going to get back Chase Edmonds. And I think between him and Eno, I think you can probably put together a pretty good running attack. I think if you add Rondale Moore on some screens out of the, not out of the backfield, but kind of, screens like
out the flat.
Wide. Yeah, out of the flat. Thank you. You can get some movement on the ground going north south that way too. So I think you could win a ground game without James Conner. I don't know if you're going to be able to get those tough third downs without James Conner, right? They don't have that big body back behind him. So you can win like in between the 20s. I just don't know inside the 20s how well it's going to go. The other thing to this game is going to be very interesting is Matthew Stafford. The dude hasn't played a lot of playoff games. Right? He kind of froze up a little bit in a big game yesterday. How is that going to roll over to a playoff game at home, Monday Night Football? We don't know how Stafford's going to react because he's really never been in these positions before.
Josh Weinfuss, ESPN, joining us here in the Freak Nation. And Josh, we'll end it with this. We know you've got some feeding time, not for you, but for your youngest.
And for me.
Okay, and for you. 4 or 5 weeks ago, it was damn near undeniable that the Cardinals were going to win the West. And now look where we are. I gave the Cardinals 6 wins, maybe 7 wins this season. Boy, was I wrong. But I still stand by the belief, and you touched on this early on, it's the way this organization is run. And it's tough to dig deep into it given where we are. But we know how this organization's run with the Bidwells. That's just what's so glaring to me because so many things don't make sense moving into this first round of the playoffs. This team, these players have succeeded in spite of how this team is run.
But that can only go so far.
Josh Weinfuss.
Here's what's interesting about that is you have a head coach that's really good in first half of seasons. Like he is historically bad in second half of seasons, going back to 2013, his first year at Texas Tech. At some point, I think that the team is going to sit back and say, has Cliff Kingsbury hit his ceiling as a head coach? Now, look at Doug Collins from Chicago Bulls in 1989. Goes to the playoffs with Michael Jordan. He couldn't get past the Pistons. So they fire him, which was crazy when you think about it for how much he did with the Bulls that year. And they hire Bill Jackson, and that just takes off like a rocket.
Wow.
Are we looking at a similar situation? Possibly. I think we would be remiss not to give Cliff Kingsbury some credit, right?
Right.
He took a 3-win team, went to 5 wins, went to 8 wins, went to 11 wins. Very good. Right? It's great, right? It's a great year-over-year improvement. Not many teams have done that. Not many teams can do that. But when you start seeing these teams fall off the way they do, the wheels come off, they nosedive, whatever you want to call it, at a certain point, when everyone is dealing with the same issues, right? Everyone has injuries. Everyone's dealing with COVID. So you have to take that out of the equation. And you do this year after year. That is a fundamental organizational problem. It might not be at the Bidwell level. It might not be at Michael's level. But if you bring in the guy who can't do this, who can't get you over that hump, and it's something that is in his history, his past, then I think this team needs to take a long look at what do you do at the head coaching job. Because you've already wasted Kyler Murray's rookie contract. He's eligible for an extension. So now you're going to go pay him a boatload of money, which is, in my opinion, the right thing to do. It's deserved. And that's going to affect how you organize your team for the next 5 to 10 years. So you're in your window to win. Last year, you couldn't win 2 win-in-your-in games to get to the playoffs. This year, you were the cream of the crop, right? You were the creme de la creme. You were the number 1 seed in the NFC for weeks. You had a runaway in the NFC West for weeks. You're in the playoffs because of how well you started, but then all of a sudden you're a 5 seed. You're on the road, which obviously could be a blessing in disguise. But just the way everything fell off, it doesn't feel like we're talking about an 11-win team. This should have been a 13, 14-win team. I think everyone knows that. So how much more time are you going to give Cliff to do this? Like what happens if this happens again next year?
Right.
And the year after? And you never get to that NFC Championship game or Super Bowl level where they have the roster to do it.
Right.
And they just didn't. Like at some point you need to sit back and say, has he taken this team as far as he can take it? Now the next part of that is if Michael Bidwell wanted to make a change, maybe he wanted to clean house. I don't know if there's an infrastructure in this organization to do that, because most teams have an ownership level, and then like a higher level of the front office, a team president, all that. This team really doesn't have that. They have Michael and Steve Keim, the GM. So if you want to fire Steve Keim and you clean house, there's really no one left. So I think that's an interesting thing too. Like if at some point if they want to make sweeping changes to get to that next level, will it happen? Can it happen? What does it look like when it happens?
Yeah, it's like you're cleaning a tiny house, not a freaking mansion like some of these other teams, the way they're run. Josh Weinfuss, ESPN, ESPN.com. There's your Cardinals insight. That's why he's such a damn smart dude. A lot of that made sense. Weinfuss, go feed yourself and feed your youngest, will you?
I will, Doug. Thanks for having me, guys.
Thank you, Josh.
Turkey. It's on the menu.
Oh, yeah. There it is. Oh, yeah.
He's going to hate us forever.
It's greatness.
I know. I was. So I saw a stat today. No team in NFL history has ever won their first 7 games and then lost 6 after that. Yeah.
Hey, at least Michael Bidwell making history. You know?
Yeah, there is that.
Did any of you pick up on that shot again? It's a ubiquitous shot of Bidwell, and it's like they're inseparable.
Oh, on the sideline.
Yeah, on the side. I've never seen a general manager and owner of any team, of any professional team, so locked in arms
constantly like this. Yeah.
Yeah, and they're both just like as they're watching Penny. What was it, 170 plus last night?
It was a lot.
Monday Night Football, bro.
Hey, did you know that the Cardinals haven't won a primetime game all season?
Yes.
Oh, that's right.
0-3.
Too. Oh, and now this is a primetime game.
Mm-hmm.
But it's away, the fan base, all week. That's all we're going to hear. But it's an away game.
So
we can do
strange.
this.
It is so strange, isn't it? But as we talked about this in the first segment, it's the engagement personally and selfishly for me is there.
Yeah.
And it's because one, it's the Cardinals. Two, my daughters are Cardinals fan. Three, Richie, she's asked me more playoff scenarios, and this is no joke. And if I won't answer them the way she wants them answered, she'll ask her mom. Well, Dad, if the Tampa Bay Buccaneers lose, the Rams lose, and the Cowboys win, where does that? This is great. It happened at dinner Saturday night in Flagstaff. It happened on our drive home. It happened on the couch. It's the engagement that we have in this.
That's wild.
I know. She's asking very intelligent questions. Yeah.
And I will say that's a testament to not only Henley's knowledge, but to the organization as well. And I will give the Cardinals credit in this certain fact. Because Henley is about the same age. She's 8 years old. I was around that same age when I started to watch football on a regular basis. And the Cardinals were so bad at that time. That's why I'm not a Cardinals fan. Right? And now you're starting to get an organization that is able to play well enough to make new fans like that for a new generation and actually be able to pack a stadium with fans, unlike they were 20 years ago when they couldn't fill up Sun Devil Stadium and were getting blackouts every week. And so even if I wanted to be a fan, I couldn't even watch games when I was a kid. So
Yeah, that's so the Colts scenario when I was a kid. Because, everything was blacked out because nobody was buying tickets. Yeah, there was no point in a kid my age becoming a Colts fan in Indianapolis right after they moved there. They're just, like you just said, same with the Cardinals. The whole blackout rule is stupid, in my opinion, for any sport, though. It's just because of what we just said. How can you engage your younger audience if something's going to be blacked out in its own city? Dumb. What do you? Money.
Yeah, man. Does that even look like my hand?
It looks a little weird.
I thought you were doing like a little mini violin thing there too.
Oh, yeah.
Whose hand is that? Whose hand is that? Get that hand out of there. Okay.
You love this a little too much. Oh, okay. There you go.
Hey,
at least you cut your nails. Nice manicure.
Oh.
What is going on? No,
all right.
Can't do it.
We're getting the hell out of here. This is a fun one. Thank you, Josh Weinfuss, for joining us.
Happy Monday, everybody. Enjoy the championship game tonight. College.